Okay, the next part, as far as the 22090 exam for A plus, we look at a motherboard. We have ATX, what it stands for Advanced Technology Extended. The standardize, it has been done by Intel in 1995. That's been a long time. Well, still very popular in today's market. We got also another one, which is a more small form factor. It's called micro ATX. It's the same, but it's a bit smaller than the other one. The ATX. So it's a small form factor, similar mounting point and power as ATX. So it has the same mounting point and it has the same power, even if it's smaller than the ATX. We also got mini ATX, which is mini ITX. It's a bit smaller, even smaller. That is the smallest, but it still keep the same character or the feature or the mounting point as ATX and micro ATX. It's even a smaller form factor. So similar mounting points as ATX and micro ATX. Is designed for small, well actually it's designed for a single purpose computing. For example, streaming media computers. So it's a more smaller, it has a small form factor. You can use it for like a media, when you want to choose some TV programs or something like that, you can use that. That is as far as the sizes of the motherboard. So we've got ATX, we've got micro ATX, and we've got mini ATX. So that's the three, which is the main one. All right, move on now. We have, we done the BIOS. We have the expansion slots and BIOS speed. Well, we got I think, we got the PCI, which stands for Peripheral Component Interconnect. And that is actually a legacy expansion slot. The speed runs from 133 megabytes per second to 533 megabytes per second. Okay, that's between this range here. And we got another one, which is, it's called PCI-X. And that's not PCI Express, it's actually PCI-X. It's PCI-X stand for extended. It's designed for server. So this is actually for server. This is not PCI Express. It's completely different. It's actually, the throughput is 1064 megabytes per second. So we've got the PCI, we've got PCI-X, and the main one, which is the important one, is PCIe. And PCIe stands for Express, so it's called PCI Express or PCIe. It's actually serial communications, not like the old one. I mean, like not like the previous one, which is PCI and PCI-X. It was actually parallel. It was like a parallel one, but the PCI is the serial communications. We got serial communications by PCI by 1, PCI by 2, PCI by 4, PCI by 8, PCI by 16, PCI by 32 lanes. So they go by lanes. The high performance for devices like high-end graphic adapters. PCI expresses throughput per lane. So they go 2 lanes. One go in and come back. It's like a road, like going and come back. The throughput go in each directions per lane. One direction is go, another one back. The speed is from 250 megabytes per second to 2 gigabytes per second. So between that period, I mean, for example, we got PCI Express by 2, so we're gonna consider that by 2. So it's gonna be the speed by 2. It will be by 400, 500 now. Speed from 250 we'll see that later. Okay, now we got the mini PCI. We got also the smallest one for the laptop. They're not as bigger as the PC, but the laptop, they are mini PCI, which is the older one, and PCI Express mini cards. PCI and PCI Express for laptop. Adapter cards are internal to the device, so they're not outside of it. They have to be internal to the device, and that is an expansion slot and bus speed as far as we're concerned. Okay, now, so we do that. We got memory type. So we got memory type. We got DIMM, that stands for dual inline memory module. The electric contacts are different on each side, so they are different contact in different sides. So we got SDRAM 168 pin, got DDR SD RAM, which is 184 pins. So we got 168 pin, and we got double DDR 184 pin, and we got double DDR2 and DDR3 SDRAM is 240 pin. Okay, so we got the DDR 184 pin, we got DDR2, DDR3 240 pin. So that is the look for it. We got also for a laptop, we got SODIMM, so small outline dual inline memory module. So this is a version for a laptop. Using laptop and mobile devices, not only for laptops, also for mobile devices. We've got DDR and DDR2 SDRAM. That's for we're still talking about laptop. So the pin is a bit it's not mini, it's 200 pin. So it's a bit smaller, but it has DDR and DDR2 is 200 pin. But the DDR3 SDRAM 204 pin. So it has more 4 pin than the DDR and DDR2. And also the last one, which is the micro DIMM. Micro DIMM is micro dual inline memory module, as we know. Their electrical contacts are different on each side, so they're completely different side. DDR SDRAM, they are 172 pin. That's for micro we're talking about. We've got DDR2 and DDR3 SDRAM 214 pin. So that is for micro one. Okay. So we know DIMM, we know SODIMM, we got micro DIMM, and they have a version. Okay, let's move on now to CPU sockets. We can see that in the picture. So zero insertion false. That's a ZIF. So it's a zero insertion false. This is like easy to put it, and it insert itself as a zero pressure. We've got the pin grid array. It's got PGA, pin grid array, PGA. Okay, that is in the motherboard. And also the last one, which is Intel is more concerned and more using it, is called Land Grille Array. It's LGA. You got PGA, got LGA. All right, we've got now a legacy chipset. So we know that for the CPU. Now we move on to the legacy chipset. Chipset is very important, and the same as the CPU. They are working together as a team. So we've got legacy of chipsets. So we've got graphic adapter slot, PCI Express or AGP. They're actually high-speed graphic bus. It goes to the North Bridge memory controller hubs. We call it North Bridge memory. North Bridge or memory controller hubs. It has a front side bus. It stands for FSB. It goes straight to the CPU. And also we've got a North Bridge going internal bus. it goes actually to South Bridge. We've got North Bridge and the South Bridge. It's called I/O controller hubs. It's used for USB, Internet, IDA, SATA, and etc. As a device goes through it. And the South Bridge have bus, connected bus. It's PCI bus, also on graphic controller. And we've got the bus, also PCI bus for adapter slots, etc. And the other one, which is a memory bus. Memory bus goes actually connected direct to the North Bridge because it's high-end device where you can see the memories. We've got also low pin count, which is bus flash, BIOS RAM, Super I/O serial port control, parallel port control, floppy drive control, keyboard mouse control. So all is accommodated or connected directly to South Bridge. And also the South Bridge, it has an internal bus, go to the North Bridge goes to the CPU through the front side bus. That is for as far as we have a chipset. Actually, this is a legacy chipset. Sometimes you can see the chipset integrated in the CPU, in the modern CPU. Right, we've got the chipset evolution. So you can see that as I mentioned earlier, the new computer, they have chipsets integrated in the processor or the CPU. So we've got chipset evolution. So the processor, you can see that the processor, we can see that there's sometimes you can see cores inside the CPU. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5, maybe 8 core integrated. It has a system, agents, and memory controller as well. We've got shared L3 cache, memory cache. We know the L2, the L1 and L2 is already integrated, but we added shared L2 cache memory inside the CPU now integrated. Today, integrated CPUs, more functions are moving into the CPU. So, like for example, as we say, multiply processor core, got memory controller, we got graphic processing unit, that's GPU. So all that is actually integrated in the CPU. What is integrated in the CPU? Is a multiply, a processor core. We've got memory controller inside that, the CPU, the chip. We've got graphic processing unit integrated in that chip, CPU chip. So all that is in there. It's memory controller I/O, which is, remember, we call it as what? Memory controller I/O, or we call it North Bridge. Okay. As far as we have chipset evolutions for that. Okay. We've got a system memory. We've got what kind of memory? We've got ROM, which is read-only memory. It can't be changed or erased. So ROM cannot be changed or erased. It's fixed, it's there. When you put the information, nobody can change it. And also another one, which is PROM. What P stand for? Programmable base, well actually programmable ROM. PROM. Programmable ROM. You can write once. That's it, no more. Once. And the next one we got EPROM. E stands for erasable, P for programmable, ROM. So what happens to that? You can actually write, erase, write again. So you can erasable and write again, erase and write again. Well, the last one, which is EEPROM, is electrical, erasable, programmable ROM. So it's actually more concerned. It's more reserved for a flash memory. Yeah, it's a flash memory. Yeah, that's what we do. It's a flash memory. And we got this expensive one. It's called SRAM, which stands for static RAM. It maintains data without constant refreshing. Very fast, very expensive.